What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Is that Lightspeed Masayuki?
Isn't he the mightiest hero known to the world? No wonder even the demon lord Rimuru acquiesced to him.
Praise flowed like lines scripted by seasoned actors. Such was Masayuki's influence. His reputation transcended borders, and now, with his enhanced unique ability, its impact reached even further, evoking the familiar chorus of adoration.
Masayuki! Masayuki!
The unified voice echoed, a testament to the unity of the imperial populace. To Velgrin's delight, he was Emperor Masayuki in their eyes. While Testarossa inwardly bristled at the misinterpretation, which implied Rimuru's deference to Masayuki, she silently accepted the consequence of her unintentional misdirection, unable to voice her discontent. Now, Masayuki had garnered widespread support, surprising many with the ease of its acquisition. This led to the declaration of his status as the divinely ordained Emperor of the Nazca Namrium Ulmeria United Eastern Empire, a title reverberating globally. The citizens of the capital, buoyed by newfound hope, regained their vitality. Though the ache of loss persisted, they embarked on fresh journeys, embracing life anew. Calgurio found immense joy in witnessing the gradual return to normalcy, despite the lingering challenges posed by the resurgent nobility. While Minutes oversaw the nobles, Calgurio wished to offload the responsibility entirely onto him, a self-serving inclination. Yet, the nobles cared little about intermediaries as long as they held sway over the new emperor, bombarding Calgurio with requests for audiences. Turning to Testarossa for aid, he inquired about the realm's nobility.
And what of the nobles of this realm?
Her response was direct.
The majority of them don't pose a significant threat.
Though Calgurio didn't fully grasp her meaning, he interpreted it as Testarossa subtly maneuvering behind the scenes. With Minutes fulfilling his duties, Calgurio resolved to focus on his own responsibilities. Before long, the influx of audience requests dwindled.
Lady Testarossa.
He suspected her of employing intimidation tactics but hesitated to probe further. Seated before him, elegantly sipping tea, was Blanc, a demon long dreaded by the Empire. Despite his skepticism, the truth remained undeniable. Regardless of the methods she may have employed, Calgurio couldn't shake off his unease.
Oh, how cruel of you. Why do you regard me as if I've threatened your life? I've never done anything harmful to you.
All villains harbor delusions of innocence. Calgurio felt insignificant, even within the confines of his office. Confronting this virtual queen of the underworld, he found himself unable to articulate his fear, a testament to her formidable presence.
No, I don't entertain any doubts about you. Your support is invaluable to me every day. I was simply curious about your strategies for managing the nobility.
I'd prefer if you focus on your own duties and leave that matter to me, please.
Testarossa delicately sipped her tea, emitting a graceful sigh.
However, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge your contribution, so let me share. To cut to the chase, the nobility didn't pose any significant challenges.
Yes, but I'm intrigued by the reasons.
Firstly, the Empire's nobility is divided into three main factions. You're familiar with them, I assume.
Yes, my lady. There's the military faction, headed by Minutes' brother, the Marquis. Then there's the Old Money faction, which wields considerable influence in the Emperor's circle. And lastly, the countryside nobles.
The military served as the backbone of the empire, drawing interest from many nobles seeking favor. Despite being led by a marquis, a lower-ranking title, it consisted mostly of minor nobles. Conversely, the Old Money faction comprised influential nobles with ties to the emperor, forming the elite class where only earls or higher could engage in public discourse. The countryside nobles, however, lacked unity, banding together due to their individual insignificance. Their cohesion stemmed solely from shared objectives. Testarossa nodded, acknowledging Calgurio's recap.
Indeed. Now, about the military faction. Minute seems to have quite a grip on them, doesn't he?
No, actually, he and his brother aren't in agreement.
Oh, is that so? It seemed like he was sulking.
Huh?
He allowed his elder brother to assume the Marquis title on his behalf, feeling overwhelmed by the responsibilities. It was merely a form of rebellion, a way to adapt to his new role while safeguarding his reputation.
Testarossa offered a faint smile.
It's a common tactic among those feeling vulnerable.
Is that accurate, my lady? And how did you come to learn about this?
I'm afraid I can't divulge that information. You're familiar with the saying, ignorance is bliss, right?
In reality, Moss had unraveled everything in just one night. Despite his title as a demon peer and his reputation as the King of Ash, he arguably faced the most arduous challenges in Tempest due to Testarossa's incessant demands. Yet, with no one to confide in, he silently endured the overwhelming workload imposed upon him. Sneaking into the Marquise's estate, Mas perused the journal hidden in his office and shared its secrets with Testarossa. Mas effortlessly circumvented the Marquise's strict security measures, also unearthing valuable insights to bolster their diplomatic relations, which he casually imparted to Minutes. Though technically illicit, Mas's skewed moral compass rendered it a trivial transgression.
Indeed. I'll leave it in your hands, Lady Testarossa. It would be improper of me to delve further, wouldn't it?
Calgurio deftly sidestepped the query. Regardless of the circumstances, it seemed Minutes was patching things up with his brother, indicating a favorable outcome. It was wise to focus on the eventual result.
Very well. That covers the military faction. What about the others?
The rural nobles have indicated their readiness to pledge allegiance to you.
Huh? When did this happen?
They quickly fell into line. Their primary concern is ensuring peace and prosperity in the Empire's rural regions. With stability restored, their only remaining worry pertains to our political direction.
I see.
And by the way, do you know how the rural nobles finance themselves?
Well, mainly through agricultural yields from their respective territories. After meeting their needs and fulfilling tax obligations, they sell the surplus to affiliated merchants, thereby supporting the regional lords, as far as I know.
Yes, that's mostly accurate, but there's one aspect you've overlooked.
Calgurio found himself in a rather peculiar situation. Being a high-ranking military officer, he couldn't quite grasp why he was receiving an economics lesson from the demon who had caused so much turmoil in the Empire. It puzzled him.
Why does a demon know so much about human economics? I've learned about it as a lower-ranking noble, but it's not common for top military officers to be knowledgeable in this.
Moreover, his understanding seemed to miss the mark. While he considered regional crafts and specialty goods, they didn't quite align with Testarossa's expectations. It seemed uncharacteristic of her to scrutinize his responses like this.
So, what's the deal?
The underground market.
What?
Calgurio couldn't hide his surprise. The thought of underground trade being tolerated in the Empire seemed absurd. He trusted in the Emperor's authority to ensure equality among citizens. Despite the varying privileges of the nobility, military service offered a path for commoners to rise in society.
I get that. But I'm not talking about surface stuff. Practical businesses cannot do without the necessity of the black market. Do you understand why?
If Testarossa saw it as a necessity, there had to be some truth to it. Yet, Calgurio remained doubtful. Black market dealings bordered on treason against the Emperor. If it were as widespread as Testarossa implied, Imperial spies would have surely caught wind of it. Lieutenant Kondu, known for his meticulous information gathering, wouldn't have overlooked it.
I'm skeptical. Are you saying Lieutenant Kondu turned a blind eye?
Testarossa gave him a stern look.
Do you refuse to see the logic? He let it slide because it wasn't entirely negative.
What do you mean?
Well, for merchants, being associated with a noble might seem attractive, but their market is limited by their employer's status. Can merchants serving lesser nobles compete with those serving earls and dukes?
Ah.
The answer is no. It's just not feasible. They're bound to comply with those in power. That's where the underground traders come in. Groups like the Echidna Club, once rulers of the black market, and their successors, the Cerberus Secret Society, thrived because they served a crucial purpose.
Calgurio could feel the blindfold being lifted, a symbol of newfound freedom. Testarossa had once mentioned how merchants thrived on their independence. They wouldn't be motivated to maximize profits if they were tied to fixed salaries. Imposing restrictions through force would only lead to resistance and inconvenience the very customers they served. Kondu understood this well, which explained his reluctance to interfere significantly in the underground market. The same principle applied to the taboo practice of human trafficking, even though it was universally condemned. There were circumstances where it became a dire necessity. For example, when a village faced famine and struggled to sustain its population, reducing the number of mouths to feed was crucial. Although it was legally prohibited, it had to be done to prevent the loss of countless lives. In such extreme cases, selling individuals offered a better chance of survival than any other desperate measure. While an extreme example, this had occurred numerous times throughout the Empire's history. Inconvenient truths like these were prevalent and treated as open secrets by the government. One major concern revolved around the Empire's trade relations with foreign nations. Officially, the Empire refused to recognize the sovereignty of any other country, rendering foreign trade illegal. However, such a policy was economically unsustainable. It was only a matter of time before groups like Cerberus emerged in the Western nations. Testarossa calmly enlightened Calgurio about these matters, leaving him pondering why a demon possessed such extensive knowledge. It made him feel ignorant and stirred a sense of melancholy within him.
Well, I must express my sincere gratitude for the detailed explanation. I truly appreciate it.
Calgurio acknowledged.
Oh, don't mention it. By the way, this made dealing with the regional nobles a breeze. I informed them of our decision to fully permit free trade from now on, and they eagerly rallied behind our cause. Moreover, as Sir Rimuru moves forward with his plans, we'll establish railway systems connecting the Empire's regional cities. This will ensure a more equitable distribution of wealth throughout the entire Empire, rather than it being concentrated in a handful of cities. With these initiatives in place, they pledged their unwavering support for Emperor Masayuki.
Calgurio found himself convinced by the presented arguments. The Empire boasted remarkable scientific advancements, but lacked the resources and time to connect all its cities. The reason was crystal clear: the majority of the imperial budget was dedicated to research and development, as well as the military. While the transportation of food and goods held importance, the supply network only extended to cities near the capital. Distant regions relied on magical means or airships for deliveries. The forgotten cities had become an integral part of Rimuru's development plans. Once the regional lords were informed of this, winning their favor became a breeze. The negotiation hinged on infusing these regions with a substantial influx of money and labor, and Rimuru, alongside Testarossa, possessed the means to make it a reality. They had delved deep into the economic conditions of these lords, skillfully utilizing that knowledge to their advantage during the talks.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Nate, Havox, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Justa Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Jarius Ladek, Ray Perez, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, Sankas Chelu, T. Bush, John L, Edgar Fuentes, JV, Dirty Old Hobo, Thomas, J, Christ, Juan Ignacio, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Vethelny, Lunel Scarlett, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Panda Cats, DeAndre Nance, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Chris Jr., Isaac, Koala King 93, Paul DeGrassi, Little 95, Quilly Buckner, Zephyros, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, L, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Liron Sangkap, Lucas Gay, Jason Martin, Echo Ski, Foolish Prophets, Ethan Madison, Charles Bailey, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Andre Hamilton, Jason Torres, Sesh, Guy Ansley, Simon Road, Emperor WSA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Homelike Drop, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Hansel Ortega, Karam Faraj, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Arian Booker, Kamal Luke, Mr. Santo, Steven, Mose Chaudhary, Spencer Candila, Ian Sikibuyol, Putate, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, Lamar, Alpha Domination, Anselmo, KACP9R. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.